Welcome back to Off the Docks. Today we're going to do our spoiler talk for Halloween Ends. I've seen the movie like 4 times now. How many times have you seen it now, Cameron?
I have only seen it twice. I will probably end up watching it more when I get the chance. But yeah, as right now I've only seen it 2 times.
All right, so the opening we got Corey. We got our introduction to Corey Cunningham, which
Yeah,
actually is my favorite character in the movie.
you know
Um,
he's he's gonna cause a lot of debate amongst fans. But
oh yeah,
I actually I'm with you. I think he's my favorite character in the movie. Yeah,
and I think a lot of that is mostly because he's the most fleshed out character in the movie.
true.
Um,
It's true.
One of the complaints that I've heard the most about this movie is that none of the characters feel like they get that much development, which I
Hmm.
actually very much agree with. I feel like Corey is the only like main character of this movie, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
Allison is a pretty big character in this one, but the plot
I wouldn't
pretty much
say
entirely revolves around Corey, and I'll get
I
more into
will.
that later, but like
Yeah.
pretty much everything in this movie happens around or because of Corey's actions.
Yeah, that is very true. It's really all he's the center of attention in this movie. I wouldn't necessarily say they don't get any development. Like Lori is still a pretty big character in this movie. It's just that they clearly wanted to do something different and go in a different direction, which, I respect. So I didn't mind Corey's character really in this movie. He's gonna be a very uh controversial character for sure. Like fans are gonna be either loving or hating him.
Yeah. So, the opening sequence we get Corey is babysitting this bitch ass little kid. Who, the only reason I say that is because he just randomly starts acting like a dick out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Um, but the kid is like totally normal at first, and then he's like, I'm not gonna pretend to be friends with some ugly ass boy babysitter. And I was like, and then he was like saying all this stuff about Michael doesn't kill kids, he kills babysitters. And
yeah.
God damn it, I hope Michael's in the house right now.
I won't say he fucking deserved it or anything, but like
But he was
he
asking
was a
for it.
bitch ass kid. He was being a punk.
I mean, I don't wish real death on anybody, but in a horror movie, I wish death on every annoying character, and he was one of them. um, yeah. So basically, the kid sets up this whole elaborate prank to make Corey think that Michael broke into the house and is trying to kill the kid.
Yeah,
And so when Corey goes up looking for the kid to try to help him, and he walks into this room, the kid locks him in there. Then
yeah.
Corey kicks the door open and knocks the kid off like the third fucking floor.
Bro, I was like, because we read the plot line in our spoiler talk for the not spoiler talk for the trailer talk of the first trailer that came out,
Yeah.
and it mentioned something about Corey being held responsible for this kid's death. So I was expecting something to happen, but man, I was not expecting that shit to happen.
I
Like,
I
holy
thought
crap!
that Michael was gonna kill the kid and the kid was gonna and
Or
Corey was
yeah,
gonna take the fall
something.
for it.
Yeah,
I thought they
but
were gonna blame Corey for it because it was like a year after Michael disappeared, and so
yeah,
nobody
and
would
like
believe that
they
it was
just
Michael.
right. No, they he straight up fucking dies. Oh my god, dude,
Dude,
that
and
was
it what a brutal
nuts.
fucking scene too when he hits the floor and his head whips back up. I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh my fucking god." Like, and in
yeah.
the theater hearing the fucking bones crack and shit and the
Oh,
thud and oh my
yeah.
god, it was like, dude,
It's
holy
intense,
fuck.
man. It is intense.
And then we get possibly the best opening sequence as far as like the pumpkin credits go.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Um
So
it is
obviously,
definitely one of my favorites.
obviously, I think my favorite is just the original, just purely for nostalgia and bias.
Yeah.
But in terms of a fucking cool ass opening, It's got to be between this one or Halloween 2018 with the rotting pumpkin in reverse. Both of
Yeah,
those are fucking awesome, man. But man, this one's so cool. As like I talked to you after we watched the movie and I was like, I don't know how the fuck they did that. I know you said something about like maybe it was stop motion and I think you're probably right, but still I'm just like I don't know how they did that. Cuz it's definitely a real pumpkin.
yeah, I'm not entirely sure how they did it. It could be visual effects. Um,
I I don't I think there's definitely some kind of comping, but I don't think it's in like completely CGI pumpkins or
no,
anything
no,
like
no, no.
that.
I think it's probably
Yeah.
mostly stop motion with maybe some effects added on it.
Yeah.
But it is a
Fucking nuts, dude.
kick-ass opening sequence. The score for this movie is intense as fuck. I love the like the bass kick happening during the
Oh
main
yeah.
theme in the
Fucking
opening
awesome.
credits is fucking like
So good.
phenomenal. I fucking love
Yeah.
it. And
So great.
basically just the whole opening sequence, and also like we didn't realize at first. We were like, why is the text blue? Which it's
Yeah.
a Season of the Witch Easter egg, which
Yeah,
is
so
awesome.
I found out because I was looking up why that was, and I found out that Halloween 2018 used the font from the original movie, of course, and then Halloween Kills actually used the font from Halloween 2. And I never fucking knew that until I found this out, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's awesome!" And then, of course, following the pattern, they used Halloween three's font, so that's why it's all blue and the text is a bit different. But I thought it was great. I thought it set this really eerie vibe with the blue text. I thought it was
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, I was totally fine with it. Um, the one thing I've seen a lot of people talking about with the blue text is that they think that it was the writers or the director's way of telling us that this movie is very different.
That is, yeah, that's another way to look at it, and I won't disagree. Like, I think that's an interesting theory.
Yeah, I mean it has some weight to it when you
Yeah,
realize how different of a movie this really is. This
yeah, yeah,
this has like the romantic subplot of a Scream sequel.
yeah,
But and it has this really interesting like almost 80s teen movie drama feel to it
yeah.
with like Corey and Allison's relationship.
It
Eh,
is definitely unexpected, to say the
Yeah.
least.
So basically as the movie carries on, we see like these kids like fucking with Corey over and over, and
Yeah,
uh and then he meets Lori and Allison, who are like finally people in the town that are nice to him. And
yeah,
so of course he grows attached to Allison pretty quick because typically people just fucking hate him.
yeah. And
And
Allison's really the only one that treats him nice.
yeah,
And Lori and Allison are really cool with him, and it's a really nice scene to see like Lori kind of taking him in and being like, "Do you want to do it or should I?" And they stabbed their fucking kid's tires, and it was pretty good.
yeah, that kid. If anybody in this movie deserved to die, it was that kid. I was like,
And he gets
yo,
one of the
fuck
coolest
that
deaths
kid.
in the movie that I guess we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dude, yeah, seriously, fuck that guy. Like every scene
yeah,
that kid was in, I was like, "Yo, somebody stab him, please."
dude,
It's like
totally,
just finish his ass. Like I'm
totally,
so tired of this fucking little bitch.
this fucking asshole.
And you know what's crazy about that too is that like they're fucking drama kids or whatever. They're like marching band,
Yeah, they're like marching band kids,
and
which
they
is
talk
such
about
a
like going to the school play and shit. Like who the
yeah,
fuck.
such a flip on the head, and I kind of
Yeah,
love it.
how fucking dare you as a marching band kid go and bully the nerd.
No, it's such a weird thing, but I kind of love it. To
And
be
that's
quite
another thing
honest.
that I like that to me supports that like 80s tone that this movie has
Yeah,
because like it was such an 80s thing to have the jock kid in the Letterman jacket picking on the main character
yeah, for
like
sure. Yeah, but I kind of love it. Um, it's a different. It's turning it on its head, and I appreciate what they were trying to do, but yeah, when I heard him say that he's a fucking band kid, I was just like, what?
Yeah, I was like, you mean to tell me that this rich, like, little band kid is the school bully? Like, really?
Fucking bully, yeah.
But
Well, he's
anyways,
Corey's bully, and it's
yeah, that's another thing. Corey's like 23 and he's getting picked
yeah,
on by this fucking like high school senior who's maybe
yeah,
18.
yeah.
I don't know how the fuck that happened.
I don't fucking know either.
Cuz like I mean, I guess it's probably Corey's afraid to hit him because he's a kid, I guess because of all
I
the
mean, yeah,
reputation he has around the town.
that's a good point.
But like if I was Corey, if I found out that kid was 18, oh dude, like
He's
right off
done.
the start when that kid was in his face and shoving him and saying all that horrible stuff to him, I would have socked
Yeah.
that motherfucker and left him in that parking lot. But yeah,
Oh my
so
god.
Lori and Allison take in Corey basically, and
Yeah,
he
pretty
starts to
much.
date Allison, and as he's dating Allison, his life just keeps getting further and further out of control. And he goes to this party with Allison,
Yeah,
and the mother of the kid that he accidentally killed is there.
yeah,
And she basically just reignites all the horrible things that people say about Corey by screaming at him and saying that she doesn't think it was an accident and he killed her son on purpose and all this stuff. And so Corey, of course, understandably leaves the party. Uh,
yeah.
and then
Fucking horrible.
that's like, leads us to one of the craziest scenes in the movie that already started dividing people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which basically those dickhead teenagers that were picking on him find him again, and they get out and they start, pushing him and fucking with him, and Corey pulls a knife, and the kid
Yep.
pushes him off the overpass for the freeway.
Yeah, he does.
And Corey falls and gets knocked out, and he's like laying on the grass, and off to the side, there's like an old homeless man and like a subway, or like not a subway, a sewer tunnel.
Eat fresh?
No.
Oh, okay.
So
Michael's eating
there's
fresh.
he's eating dogs maybe, I don't know.
I mean, probably dogs or rats or something.
Oh, I'm sure he's eating rats and all kinds of nasty shit down there.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe even homeless people, who knows.
You know,
Um
wouldn't put it past.
but yeah, so there's this sewer tunnel, and I'm assuming the old man drags him in there.
I'm
But
pretty
I'm not
no,
sure. I don't think so, actually.
no,
Maybe I'm wrong.
because you
Because
see
he's
the
still
old
sitting
man.
there when Corey gets dragged. Okay,
Yeah,
so here's. I guess I'll get a little further in the scene before I ask my question about this scene. It's the
yeah,
one thing that bothers me about it. But anyways, Corey wakes up in the sewer, and he gets up and tries to walk out of the sewer, which is like horror movie 101. It's never that easy, right?
yeah,
So he tries to walk out of the tunnel, and Michael is standing off to the side, and he grabs him and starts choking him. And he
yeah,
looks into Corey's eyes, and he sees Corey kill the kid, and he lets Corey go.
yeah.
Now, here is my problem with this sequence, right? Michael doesn't see that in Corey until he grabs him and looks him in the eyes.
Right.
Why did Michael drag Corey into the sewer and not kill him?
So I've kind of had an idea about this. Obviously, it's not confirmed at all, so who fucking knows? But my idea has been that he was planning on killing him, but he didn't kill him when he was knocked out because Michael gets this, like, maybe he gets the power from fear, you know?
Hmm. You think it
Like,
was too easy of a kill and Michael wanted him to struggle?
Michael wanted him to fear him, and
Yeah.
obviously, if he's knocked out, he's not gonna fear. This is my theory on why he doesn't kill babies either. We remember in 2018 he goes up to the baby's crib and then doesn't kill him. And it's always
Good
kind of
point.
been like, well, why? And that's always been my theory, and I think it applies here. I think it's because he wants Corey to fear him so that it can power him. And he feeds off fear, kind of like, not exactly like Pennywise, but in a way similar to that.
Yeah,
And yeah, so
that's a good
that's.
theory because we do see a lot of the times when Michael has like a very, very easy kill, he doesn't
Hmm.
just go for the kill, he'll fuck with the people first. Like
Yeah,
in 2018, again, he when he goes to the bathroom and there's the
yeah,
girl in there, Michael could have kicked that door in and killed that girl in less than 10 seconds.
yeah. He could have
But
fucking just
instead, he goes
taken
in
her.
there
Like,
and fucking Salt Bay sprinkles some teeth over the door
so good,
just to scare
so
her.
good, man.
And
Yeah,
then when she tries to run, that's when he wants her. Like
right,
he wanted her to struggle. He wanted her to fight. And I think that
exactly.
Michael enjoys the hunt and he wants it to be that visceral fight to the death every time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think happened there. Obviously not confirmed, but that's kind of my headcanon, if you will. That's
Yeah.
why he does these things. And I'm fine with never knowing. I kind of prefer not actually knowing, but I appreciate them leaving questions, but I do think it's really cool that we can have these, discussions and theories and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about this scene in particular. I don't know. I don't think I've asked you about this off camera. So Michael sees in Corey's eyes, he sees that Corey is a killer
Hmm.
and he lets Corey go. There's
Yeah.
two major theories for this. And I want to see which side of the fence you land on. Half the
Okay.
people seem to think, which is the side that I'm on, that Michael let Corey go because he sees himself in Corey and he feels for
Okay.
him, like he empathizes with Corey.
Hmm.
The other half is that he was hoping that Corey would bring someone back so that he could kill them.
You see, I I don't think it's the former just because to me I think having Michael show any empathy is kind of wrong. Like I see what you mean and it's not a terrible theory. I just don't like that we're making Michael more humanized in that way. To me, what I think he did was transfer some of his quote unquote evil into him. And whether or not that means he was literally planning on him being his minion and having him, you know, come bring him a victim or not, I don't really know because it's really tough to say, honestly. Like, it's a really interesting decision where I'm just like, huh, I don't know that I was expecting that. you know?
Yeah. So I'll come back to why I think that it was more the first option, which was that
Hmm.
he let Corey go because he sees Corey as himself.
Okay.
I'll get more into that in one of the later scenes that we'll talk about. So I just wanted to know, based on just seeing it twice, like where were you on that?
Yeah.
So
Obviously, my thoughts can change
because that actually
depending. Yeah.
that goes into part of my theory that I want to talk about at the end of this. So
Okay. Okay. Cool.
okay, so moving on, we get Corey comes out of the subway tunnel because Michael lets him go, right?
Right.
And this homeless guy grabs him, and the homeless guy's obsessed with Michael. And he's like, "Why'd he let you go?" And then he like tries to stab Corey. Corey stabs the
Right.
homeless guy, obviously in self-defense, but now Corey has more blood on his hands, literally, and
Right.
he's like freaked out by it, so he runs home. And then he goes to try to see Allison because it's the only person he feels like he can talk to.
Yeah.
So he shows up and stands by the hedges like Michael in the original film,
That
which is
I love
amazing.
that.
I love
I
that
do love
scene.
that.
when Lori looks out the window and sees him, and then she looks away and then comes out the door and he's gone. I was
That's
like,
so good.
yes. But then the thing that hyped me up even more was the random ass, how the fuck did he get behind her moment?
So yeah, I had seen sometime afterwards they had released B-roll of them filming the movie, and I just curiously I watched it, and that was the way they filmed it is kind of in there. He's behind her the whole time. It's just the way the camera's angled, and he's like off to the side of the camera, and somehow he walks up behind her without actually getting in the camera until she moves.
Yeah, the way
And
he pops out
yeah,
is awesome.
yeah,
Like, I loved that. I
it's
thought it was so cool.
it was really well done. Honestly, it would have been really cool to see like Michael do that in one of these movies too.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was a really cool scene. I was kind of like, how the fuck did they do that when I watched the movie?
Yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, was that CGI? How did they do that?
Yeah,
Um, but anyways, yeah, so Corey sneaks up on Lori, which is awesome. And then
yeah,
Lori, of course, is shaken up by this because the only person who's ever gotten the jump on her is Michael.
right.
And she don't like that.
She
So
don't like that
she
at all.
she immediately begins to suspect that something is wrong with Corey. He's acting different. He's like, showing up in a very creepy way. He pops up behind her and
Yeah,
scares the shit out of her. He has this weird look in his eyes. She immediately begins to suspect that something's wrong. Corey goes out with Allison,
right.
and they go to this diner, and Allison's ex, who is a cop, comes over and starts being creepy.
Dude.
he,
Okay.
he was creepy earlier in the movie as well. You can
Yeah.
tell she's very clearly not interested in being around him at all, and he won't
The
stop talking, and it's like really bad.
yeah. The first time I watched the movie with everyone, I apparently didn't catch that that was her ex, just because the dude looks like he's fucking 30 and she's obviously like 22 or something like that. Like she's not that much older than us, but this officer looks like he's in his fucking 30s to me. And there must have been a point of dialogue that I missed because I did not catch that they were a thing before.
Yeah,
And then
there's like
on my rewatch, I noticed it and I was like, what the fuck?
yeah, they don't necessarily tell you in an obvious way. There's like one very quick throwaway line from Lindsay at Lori's house, and that's it.
Yeah, he
That's the
calls him
only time
Greg or whatever his name is, Doug or
she
something
says
like
your
that.
ex the
Doug.
cop or whatever, and it's like that's it. That's the
Yeah.
only time they mention it, and the rest of the time you just
Yeah.
think he's some creepy cop who's hitting on this girl that's like college age, and you're like, yo, dude,
Um,
chill the fuck out.
but something I did notice the first watch is okay, this is kind of interesting. Remember in Halloween Kills, they had the flashback where Lonnie's getting bullied by
Yes.
these fucking redhead kids? At the end of that scene, they say, "Don't you don't fuck with the Mulaney's." And right when this character is going in to the cave, he says, "No one fucks with Don Mulaney."
Oh,
Yeah.
so
So
he's one of the bullies of the town as well.
either he's the one of those kids or he's one of those kids because that would have been in the 70s,
I
right?
like that.
So
So it's entirely possible that Corey is just out here doing the Lord's work.
doing
Just
the Lord's
getting rid of
work.
all the town assholes.
Well, he is definitely killing a bunch of the people that he hates, you know. It's like
Yeah.
that's kind of all he's doing is just killing a bunch of people he don't like.
Yeah, so Corey gets in this cop's face after he starts saying like really mean and fucked up shit to Allison.
Yeah.
And of course fucked up shit about him as well. And because he tells him, you call Mr. Aggravated Manslaughter to keep you warm at night or something like that.
Oh god, it's
And
fucking
that's
creep.
fucked up. And so
Uh
Corey jumps up, gets in his face, and this that whole sequence of the movie when
huh.
Corey is like emotionally unstable,
Yeah.
he reminded me a lot of Quentin from the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh, I like that.
And
Yeah.
of course, we're fans of the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, unlike most people.
Like probably the
And
only two.
yeah, I'd say maybe in the entire planet there's probably like 10, and we're like two of them.
We're
Um,
two of them.
but
Yeah.
Quentin was my favorite part of that movie. The actor for Corey, his performance reminded me a lot of the parts of Nightmare on Elm Street when Quentin was
Yeah.
unstable,
I like
and
that
I liked that
comparison.
a lot because I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of Quentin's character. So I was totally on board with Corey in this movie because he reminded me of him. Um,
Yeah.
so Corey, of course, snaps, gets in the guy's face, and then the dude backs off finally. And then, of course, he follows Corey because he's a dickhead. I don't know what he was gonna do.
Or
He's gonna fight Corey or some shit.
fight him or
Probably jump
something,
him.
something dumb.
Um,
Yeah, because he's an asshole.
but Corey, of course, knows that he's following him.
Yeah.
And after he drops off Allison, he leads the cop back to the sewer tunnel.
Yeah.
And he socks the cop in the face and lures him in. Which, first of all, you're a cop. Your number one instinct should have been, because right before that he sees that there's a dead body there.
Yeah.
His number one instinct should have been to call backup and not to chase Corey.
Oh, absolutely.
But
But
he's an egotistical prick, so he followed Corey.
he's an egotistical prick, but his goal was to beat the shit out of Corey, so obviously he's not gonna call back up for that. And uh the next scene though is fucking all kinds of weird.
Yes. So this next scene is the point of the movie where I was 110% in.
Yeah. For me, I was in. For a lot of people, they're gonna fucking dip and be like,
Yeah.
nah,
This
not for
is
me.
the Last Jedi you are no one moment right
Yeah.
here. Half the fans were pissed and half the fans loved it, and that was this moment right here. And I knew while we were watching the movie, I was like, this is why people are saying it's like Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
think the whole
so
movie is that, but yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, but that moment in particular,
Yeah,
I
for sure.
was going to be the tipping point between good and bad for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was fucking here for it, man. I loved it. And I know everybody hates like the idea of Michael having to have help and shit like that, which
Yeah.
I will admit I wasn't too keen on for most of the movie.
Mhm.
I think they kept Michael weak for too much of the movie. But
Yeah, that was one of my things. It's just like it's weird to see some of the things with Michael, but it's also like it is supposed to be the end of the story, so humanizing him a bit I think is forgivable for me just because he's gonna die at the end of the movie. So
yeah,
it's just like so it's a bit forgivable for me. If this was Michael in like Halloween 2018 or Kills, it would have been very different. I would have been real pissed. But because the movie is Halloween Ends and it's going to be the end of Laurie and Michael's story, I can kind of forgive it just a bit. But I was talking to you a little earlier about how when rewatching it on my TV, there's some things that I didn't catch in the theater. One of them is fucking freaky. Um, this cop guy comes up to this wall that's in the sewer, right? And he's shining his light at this like what looks like a face in the stone, right?
mm-hmm.
And it's weird. Right next to him in the darkness, you can see Michael just hunched over, looking at him.
I
You can
noticed
see
that
him
in the
there.
theater.
You noticed that? I did
Yes.
not.
And I
It
was
was
like,
too dark
oh,
for me to see that. Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't
So
fucking notice until my second rewatch, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But yeah, he's just
they
sitting
put a
there.
face in the stones so that you would
Yeah,
focus on that, and out of
on the
focus in the
face.
dark. Michael is
It's
standing there
Michael.
watching him.
Yeah,
So
he's
you're
just
like, holy
hobbled over
fuck,
like,
what?
with his
Like,
arm. Yeah, and he's just
so
watching him. It's
yeah,
creepy as
so
hell.
I noticed it the first time, but he
Yeah,
walks instead of doing the horror movie cliche thing where he turns and sees Michael and panics, he
yeah,
turns
no,
the other way. So if you
yeah, he
didn't
turns
see
the other
it,
way
you
and
didn't
doesn't
see
see
it.
him.
That's it.
No, and I did not see it, and I fucking love that I got that on the second watch because I don't know, it just made it even better for me.
Yeah. So basically in this scene, Corey leads the cop into the subway or why do I keep saying subway?
Oh no, you're real hungry. No,
Okay. So
I mean it
basically
does remind me of a Subway.
So basically, in the scene, Corey leads the cop into the sewer, and Michael is there, obviously, that we've seen earlier.
Yeah,
And Corey knocks the cop out, or like at least incapacitates him with this
yeah,
heavy ass flashlight, fucking slams him in the face with it.
yeah. Fucking officer grade flashlight and shit. It's just like, damn.
And then he holds the cop's arms back and tells Michael to show him how to kill people.
Yeah,
Which I was like, okay, so this is gonna get metal as fuck now. Because now
yeah.
there's gonna be two of these motherfuckers. Um, and I will admit the end of the movie went in a direction that I wasn't happy with because of all of this
Mhm.
setup, but that's my major complaint with the entire movie is the third act, and we'll get to that later, but um all of the stuff that they did with Corey up until the third act to me was perfect, and I was 110% in.
Yeah,
Um but yeah, so Corey shows or Michael shows Corey how to kill, I guess, and he stabs the guy. And in that first stab, Michael like jizzes in his pants, I guess. Like he starts like shaking,
it's
like he's excited
fucking
by the kill,
weird.
and the breathing
It's
gets all shaky, and it's almost like he's moaning when he stabs the
it's
guy.
it's kind of more like he's regaining strength
Yeah, okay, so
as he's killing.
that's another thing I wanted to ask you about. So obviously we see Michael kills a couple people in this movie, right?
Yeah,
If the idea that they're going with in this third movie is that killing is what heals him, right?
sure.
Which I think is the idea they were going with because later in the film, after Corey's killed a couple people, he says that his wounds don't hurt.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty sure that that's the idea they were going with is once you have that evil in you, the more you kill, the more like immune to typical things that would kill people you are.
I think
Eh,
is kind of
So
what they're going with the supernatural.
here's my question about this. And this is, I'm assuming they came up with this idea after Halloween Kills,
Sure.
but the ending of Halloween Kills, Michael gets up after being shot and beaten and all this stuff in the street,
Yeah,
right? He gets up, kills a fuck ton of people,
sure.
kills Laurie's daughter,
Sure.
and then disappears into the night. And not once in that sequence is he injured at the end of
Sure.
the film. Then in this one, he is injured to the point that he can barely like walk. Like he's very like shaky and fucked up.
Hmm.
And then when he kills the cop, he regains some strength.
Sure.
And then he kills a couple more people. And at the end of the movie, he's stronger than he is at the start of the film, but he's not quite as strong as he was in the last two movies. And my question is if killing makes Michael stronger and it heals him, then why is he not fine at the start of this film after he killed a fuck ton of people? Because he was
Well,
fine at the end of
because
Halloween Kills.
well, for one, I think saying that it heals him is a bit wrong, only because, like, obviously he still has two missing fingers. Like, it doesn't literally heal
True,
him.
true.
I think it's more that it gives him strength. Uh, inhuman strength is, I think, a better way to put it. So yeah, the whole entire movie of Halloween Kills, and obviously in 2018, he spends like fucking hours just murdering, 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 so that up until the point of the end of the movie, when he gets shot a couple of times and stabbed in the back, he can still kind of take it. And then obviously he disappears for 4 whole years, and then so he's kind of succumbing to his wounds, and he's also like weakening because he hasn't been able to kill. Obviously, I think he's killed here and there to survive, but it's not like a killing spree like in Halloween Kills or anything like that. So
So,
I think that's kind of what they're going for.
okay. So, anyways, so
Engines.
Corey helps Michael kill the guy, and then he becomes Michael's Robin, essentially. He's the new sidekick.
In the
Uh,
kill cave, Robin.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
It's the kill cave, literally.
So, so they go and murder a couple more people, and we see them kill Allison's boss, who's a dickhead.
Oh, real
Uh,
quick, I just this whole part. So before you get into the next kill,
mhm,
another one of the things that I didn't notice when watching the movie. I don't even know if you could have noticed when watching the movie. It's so dark. So when the redhead lady is, walking out onto the porch
mhm,
to look for the doctor, you see her look towards the counter that she's about to walk towards.
mhm.
In the back, you can see Corey stabbing this fucking guy over and over and over in the darkness. You can see him.
Yeah, and then when she turns the light on, you see it clearly.
Well, yeah, they focus on it when she turns around and turns the light on and shit, but you can actually see that in the background
Yeah,
as I didn't see that either
man, you
when
missed so
watching the
much.
movie.
You're so blind.
I don't think so. I think it's just it was too fucking dark. I
Well,
think
they
I don't
hit it
know. You
well, you
somehow
know.
saw it. They did hide it well.
Um, but I'm also one of those people where, like, if I'm watching a horror movie, I'm constantly looking everywhere they don't want you to look because I'm like, I know something's there.
Actually, I do look for things like that. Like, I don't know. Somehow I just looked over it, especially in the cave scene, because I feel like I knew Michael was going to be there, so I'm looking around for him. And for some reason, I guess focusing on the stone face just got me because I did not
Yeah,
see him.
yeah. So,
It's fucking creepy.
yeah, Corey stabs the guy with the wine corkscrew in the
Yeah.
neck like over and over and over, which is fucking brutal as shit. He's like suffocating him with a bag at the same time, so the blood's like
Yeah.
filling the bag while he's stabbing him. That shit was
Fucking
gnarly as fuck. That's one of the coolest kills in
metal
the
as
whole
hell.
movie. Um, but basically, uh, Michael's in the house, so the girl, she's like, "Oh my god!" and she runs in to call the police, and then she locks Corey out.
Yeah.
And Corey's like, "Oh no, I can't get in the house," and he's like banging on the glass,
Oh no.
and then she backs up, and Michael's in the house, and he grabs her, and he pins her to the
Yeah.
wall. Classic Michael kill, you know,
Of course.
redecorating for the
Gotta love it.
holidays, you know. Um, so Michael pins her to the wall, and she dies there, and
I mean,
that's
I
like
love it. I love it.
that's when we get to that's our first stab man and Robin scene. Uh,
Man, I fucking love it.
so I loved that sequence from start to finish. I thought it was great. I had no
Yeah,
issues with it. The only thing
I
that
thought it
really
was really
bothers me
cool.
about that scene is the doctor because he's such a fucking creep.
Dude, yeah, I know.
I I laughed about that out loud in the theater because there's a
Yeah.
part where he's like watching the girl walk away. She's like going to change and take a shower or something so that they can fuck, I guess. And while
I
she's
guess.
walking away, he goes, "Yes."
Oh
And I
god,
was,
yeah.
and when
I
I
forgot
saw
about
that, I
that.
stopped and went, "Nah, dude!" Like, I
Nah.
immediately started laughing out loud in the theater because I was like, "Ugh, dude! Like, what the fuck?"
Yeah. No,
It's
that's
so
fucking
creepy.
disgusting. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Just I don't know. This character is disgusting as hell, like you said. But I don't know. It's such
Like,
a
I'm sorry, dude.
classic
Even
horror movie trope.
yeah, but even in a relationship, like they're clearly seeing each other.
Oh yeah,
Even in
yeah.
a
No,
relationship, I couldn't say that like that. Like what?
no. It's fucking weird.
Like it's just so uncomfortable the way he says it. Like
Yeah.
you know
Oh,
how like
absolutely.
how uncomfortable like you would make somebody doing that in an actual scenario like
I
that.
know.
It's just like, oh my god. He goes, yes.
There's some fucking weirdos that are actually into that, but
Oh yeah,
like,
I'm sure. Don't get me wrong.
sure,
You like what you like. If you're weird, you're weird. But
if you're weird, you're weird.
hey, everybody's a little weird somehow.
Some
Some people are
people are
just
into
weird in that
feet,
way.
I guess. So anything's possible.
But anyways, we're gonna move
Love the
off the
tangent.
topic of kinks.
Let's not. Yeah,
So,
that's the conversation you thought you'd get in a Halloween.
nope.
Talk.
Hey, well, you know what? They did say the movie was erotic.
God damn it! I forgot about that.
So, so yeah, so we see Michael and Corey team up, and then Corey and Allison have more time together, and they sleep together.
Yep.
Some people have been talking about the possibility that in a future Halloween movie without Laurie, maybe Allison's the main character now,
Hmm.
that Allison will be a single mother to Corey's child.
I kind of thought about that at the end of the movie when I saw it for the first time, and I was like, would they do that?
I don't know.
Maybe,
It's an
maybe they
interesting
would.
idea.
It is. I think it is.
Imagine her 6-year-old child recreates Michael's first kill.
Ooh, I kind of like that idea as an anthology.
That would be
It's
pretty
kind of
crazy.
interesting. Yeah, that would be crazy.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention that that's kind of a cool idea. I don't know if they'll go that route or not. I think it'll be a while before we get another Halloween movie, but
Yeah, me too,
it's an
honestly.
interesting idea. Um, but yeah, so then we meet this dickhead at the radio station. Um,
Fucking, oh, I hate that guy so much.
oh, which only makes what happens to him later so much
I
better.
know. I know.
So after that, Corey talks to Lori. Lori comes to threaten him while Corey is sleeping in the bloodstain where the kid fell to his death, which is
Bro, oh yeah. I
like
was like,
red
holy
flag number
shit.
one, Lori. He's evil. I
He's
don't need any
evil.
more. You don't need any more evidence than that.
He slept in the blood stain. Ugh, that's
All the
fucking
places in the house that he could
weird.
have slept, and he slept
Yeah,
right
he
there.
slept right there. Yeah.
Like
Interesting. There's
that's weird.
literally multiple bedrooms in that house. You
Yeah,
couldn't have slept in one of those. Like, okay, dude,
yeah.
you
So,
evil.
anyways, Corey and Lori basically just talk a little shit to each other, and so Corey says the line from earlier in the movie back to her. Do you want to do it or do you want me to?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of mad because I got really hyped when he said that in the theater for a second because I thought Michael was going to come out.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, he's been charging up Michael. We're going to start Michael versus Laurie already. Like, holy fuck.
That would have been an interesting
And
way
it
to
never
go.
happened.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed. But it was a cool scene
Oh,
nonetheless. But
it was.
I
Um.
really thought when he said that Michael was going to come running out and grab Laurie. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. Real quick before we move on, the scene before that, or like a couple scenes before that, where Corey and Allison uh go upstairs and you see Lori coming home looking into
Oh, yeah,
her
yeah, yeah.
house. You see Michael in like the corner of the screen, and then you see him walk away just as Lori turns. And I kind of thought that was interesting. Like Michael actually left the cave and followed Corey to her house. just to like stalk her or stalk Allison or something. Maybe he's following Corey around and he just didn't want to fight Lori at that time because he was still too weak. Maybe it's interesting. Why was he there and why did he leave? You know,
Yeah. Well, we do know that he likes to stalk Lori.
he does like
He
to. He
does.
likes to
He
stalk everybody,
always
but
stalks
Lori
Lori.
specifically.
Like
Yeah,
he has some kind of fixation with her
I don't
since
know
the
if
original
that.
movie. He always watches her. He never goes straight for the kill. He always watches her first.
Yeah, interesting.
But
Very
yeah,
interesting.
that was a kick-ass moment. Like I thought that was cool as
Yeah,
fuck. And that I love that he disappears before she notices and then she
yeah,
senses that something's wrong but nothing's there.
yeah. Like she knew he was there, but he disappears before she sees him. Is
That to
really great.
me, I think the meaning of that scene was supposed to be, oh fuck, Michael knows where Laurie is now.
Right.
But like it is interesting now that you bring that up because I never thought about that. Was he following Corey to find out where Laurie was because he knew that Corey knew?
Yeah,
Or
because it.
because when he sees his flashbacks, he would have seen Laurie,
If I
right? If he
don't,
sees all his memories, he would have seen Laurie. Unless he only sees
um,
the kill. I don't know.
no, he sees the kill, and I think he sees the bullies. But I don't know if
Okay.
that's Michael seeing that. I think it's kind of just Corey reliving all of those moments, and kind of like the evils feeding off of these bad things that's happening to him. That's kind of what I got from that flashback moment. But if I'm not mistaken, that scene takes place right after the cop is killed, right? Because he kills the cop in the caves, and Corey goes right back to Allison. I think.
You might be right. You might be right.
So it looks like Michael followed him out of the cave and then figured. I think that he figured, oh shit, I can't fight this bitch because I'm not strong enough. So he continues to follow Corey to other places like the doctor's house and all that shit.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that he's just like, Corey's my friend, I'm gonna follow him.
Follow him.
Like, it
We're
sounds
pals now.
really, really like simple and stupid, but if
Yeah.
Michael sees Corey as somebody who is like one of him now, it
Yeah.
makes sense that he would have this kind of pack mentality that he would be like, he's giving me the kills. I gotta follow this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. I kind of like that idea. I think the way they executed it for me was well done. I think if you go too far with it, it would be really fucking bad. But for my liking, I kind of enjoy what they did.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, so
We were talking about the moment when Lori sneaks up on Corey in the house.
yeah. So Lori and Corey talk shit to each other. Lori tells him back
Yeah.
the fuck off. He can't have Allison. Blah blah blah. Right.
Yeah.
And then this is the part of the movie that I probably hate more than any other part.
Mhm.
And it's not for the reason that most people hate it.
Mhm.
Um, Corey goes and attacks Michael, beats Michael, and then takes his mask. Right.
Yeah.
Which the beating Michael part is the part that most people hate.
Yeah. Most. Yeah.
Which I
You could
kind
say
of
that.
do understand
I.
to a
Yeah.
degree. It is kind of stupid that he is this inexperienced, and in every moment of the movie, he's getting his ass kicked by people much weaker than Michael. How
Yeah.
did he overpower Michael? I do kind of. I have a little bit of that same problem, but I could have forgiven that if the scene made fucking sense. All of this time, Corey has been idolizing Michael and leading
Yeah.
Michael and helping Michael and being buddies with Michael. He's fucking Stabman and Robin for a whole
Yeah.
30 minutes of this movie. And then randomly out of nowhere, he's like, fuck you, bitch. Why didn't he go and
Yeah.
get Michael's help? to kill those people.
Yeah, I
It
don't
makes
under
no sense for him to hate Michael all of a sudden. There was
I
no
don't know
story
that it's
reason for him to turn against him.
I don't think that it's that he hates Michael. I think that he just all of a sudden wants the mask and wants to be Michael. But it's still weird. It just kind of comes out of nowhere after the whole Lori and Corey scene. He just he calls Allison to tell them, "Hey, we should get out of town now." And he's like, "Lori threatened me and blah 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 blah." And then he all of a sudden is like, "I need the mask." And it's just like, I guess he needs the mask so that he can go around and kill the rest of the people he wants to kill before leaving town. That's kind of what I'm assuming.
Yeah. But if
But it's
but
also
the
just like,
my
well,
other
why
thing
not use
though
the
is
Scarecrow mask?
yeah, that's true because I mean,
Why does he need Michael's
I guess
mask?
only Allison would know though. So like if he killed everybody and then tried to
Yeah,
escape with Allison, then there'd be like
with
newspapers
the
talking
Scarecrow
about the
mask,
Scarecrow
yeah.
killer.
Then he could frame it as being Michael.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess that's
I
true.
think that was the idea that he thought he was going to go live happily ever after. But my biggest problem was why not help Michael kill those people?
Yeah.
Or why not if you're homies with Michael now? And I know this probably would have made people just as mad. But if he had just borrowed the mask from Michael,
See, that's the thing. I don't think
because
Michael would have given
like
him the
it
mask at all.
sounds weird for Michael to willingly give up the mask, right?
Yeah.
But if he was in some kind of like friendship with Corey and he lent him the mask and then at the end he got the mask back because they killed Corey, it would have given him a personal reason to hate Lori even
Maybe
more.
I just
I
don't think
just
that Michael considers him a friend.
I don't know if he does or not though. That's one of the
I think he's
mysteries of
just
the
using
movie.
him. I honestly, honest to God, I do not think he considers him a friend at all. I just think
I
that
think
Michael is using him, and that's really there is to it. He's just using
I
him
think the
to.
reason he stops at the end, the reason he stops and looks in Corey's eyes again for one last time, I think
Mhm.
is because he's like, you fucking turned on me, you bitch.
I
That
don't
was
think
always
so at
the
all.
energy that I got from that was that he
That
was like, you
yeah,
fucking earned this, you bitch.
that I think we completely disagree on. I think he's looking in his eyes again, as in like he's taking back the evil. Is that's kind of what I'm getting from it? Like he's taking back what he gave him, the power that he gave him, because either because he turned on him or because he didn't see a need for him anymore. That's kind of
Probably both, to
how
be
I
honest.
see it.
Because
Yeah,
like I can't
that's kind of how I
imagine
see it.
even if he wasn't Michael's friend, if he just randomly attacked Michael, I don't
Oh,
think
he's still
Michael would
pissed
be like,
off.
"Oh
Yeah,
yeah, well, you know, it's cool, dude."
yeah, no, he's still fucking pissed off. That's why he kills him. Like in general, he's just fucking pissed. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but
but I know I never saw that he was friends with Corey at all. I just think that he's using him to regain his strength. Then he probably would have killed him anyways after he got strong enough.
I mean, that would have been cool, but they don't end up going that direction with it, which I think is really weird. Like there's like
Oh,
5 different options they could have gone with for those
he is
scenes
still the one that
that would have
kills
been
him,
better.
but yeah,
Well, to be fair, he was gonna die anyways.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think Michael just finished him off. I think he
Well,
was
he definitely
dying no
did
matter
finish him
what.
off,
But
but yeah.
yeah, so I thought that that was it's a really weird choice by the writers. I don't know if that was a last minute change during the pandemic when they delayed the movie and kept changing stuff or what.
Well, the
But
movie was never delayed, but
to
I see what you mean.
have that random fucking ooh, let's fucking have him hate Michael now. It was like, hey, like cuz he's like cool with Michael seemingly right from the first moment he meets him, which is weird because Corey was afraid of him.
Well, again, I think it's more of a writing thing. I think that Corey's intentions going in there is not that he hates Michael all of a sudden. He just wants the mask to use for his own means.
But
I
why?
think it would have been better if he goes into the cave calm being like, "Hey, can I have the mask?" Basically, like he's trying to reason with him, and when Michael doesn't, like when Michael refuses, then he attacks him and gets the mask. Have something like that to where instead of it just being randomly, "Oh, I need that," and he fucking pushes him over and takes it.
Yeah, like
Maybe
he
have a
literally goes
scene
in there
where,
and manhandles the fuck out of Michael Myers. Like,
yeah,
like it's so weird to think about. But my
yeah,
problem wasn't that he was able to overpower a 70-year-old man. My problem
yeah.
was that he fucking does it for seemingly no reason.
Well,
Like
yeah,
it's so
that's what
random.
I'm saying is that I think they should have, instead of him marching in there and pushing him over, they should have had like a scene where he comes in and asks for the mask, and then Michael obviously would be like, fuck no," and then that's when you have Corey get angry and take it from him. I think that would have been a little bit better articulated as to why Corey does it instead of just him randomly pushing him over, you know?
Yeah, that is to me the worst scene in the movie, and it's only
Yeah.
because of that. There's no
Yeah.
logical reason for him after working with Michael, idolizing Michael, helping Michael. He just randomly fucking goes in there and assaults Michael. He doesn't even ask him,
Yeah.
doesn't anything. He just fucking imagine being Michael and be like, "Yo, what's up, dude?" It's just getting fucking manhandled by your friend for no like if you came to my house and just fucking dragged me off my couch and started beating my ass, I'd be like, "What the fuck, man?" Like I don't understand. It's such a random thing. Like the way it works in the story just makes no fucking sense. Like it just happens
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
But anyways, so that's I just wanted to
Uh,
give my thoughts on that was the scene to me that really like hurt the film the
yeah.
most in my opinion.
Yeah. I
Um
see what you mean for sure.
then we get a sequence of Corey as the shape.
Yeah. More than a
And
sequence, like multiple like
and that is
scenes,
an
like
important detail I want to point out. Just
yes.
I'll come back to that later, but Corey
Okay.
is the shape for a whole section of this movie.
Yes.
And he has the gnarliest kills of the whole movie, by
Oh,
far.
absolutely.
Every kill that Corey has in this movie is better than Michael's, which is
Yeah.
another thing that is weird to think about.
It is
um,
because Michael. What are Michael's? Michael stabs the cop,
he stabs the
and
cop
he's
and then
just
he pins
stabbing
the
him.
girl to the wall, and that's
Yeah,
it.
which it's cool that the one like unique kill that Michael gets is a reference to the original movie. But yeah, it is kind of, you are kind of right. Like Corey has way cooler kills than Michael does in this movie.
Yeah. So I want to talk about the junkyard kills. Um, we'll kind of skip through this part kind of quick since it's
Yeah,
mostly action.
yeah,
Basically, the dickhead kids chase Corey. He lures them to the junkyard, and then he starts killing them all. So the first kid he like stabs in the eye with something, and
yeah. He stabs him in the eye with his own drumstick.
yes, the drumstick. I
Fucking
forgot about
great.
that.
Yeah,
So band
awesome.
kids that play drum, uh, watch out.
Watch out.
uh,
He's gonna
Corey's
get
coming
you.
for you. Boogeyman's gonna get you.
He's gonna
Uh,
get you.
so he kills the first kid. Then, of course, the dickhead kid, who's the toughest man on the planet, turns into the biggest
Yep.
bitch on the planet in about 30 seconds
Yeah.
and runs away and leaves his friends out there to die. Uh,
Yeah.
so, another reason that kid deserved to die. um, and then Corey begins killing like everybody else outside, right? He runs the fence over and traps the
Yeah.
girl underneath it, leaves the truck parked on it so the girl can't get out.
Fucking
And then
nuts.
he goes, beats the other girl up, and
Yeah,
then
fucking he kills her.
we get the stepdad comes out. Corey's stepdad comes out with a gun
Yeah.
to come try to stop what he thinks is probably Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And then when he
Something like that.
sees that it's Corey, he stops and is probably going to reason with him because he's one of the only characters in the movie that genuinely cares about Corey.
Yeah.
And before he can do anything, the dickhead kid comes out and aims the gun at Corey. And when the dad gets in the way, he shoots the dad on accident.
Uh,
One of the
Fucked up.
only tragedies of the movie.
It
Like,
you know
he
that
really is
yeah
the only nice
yeah
person in
honestly
the movie to Corey, other than Laurie and Allison.
that
Like,
kind of sparks a question. Is like the whole time Corey is only killing people that he hates
mhm.
and that we're being assholes to him. So I kind of wonder if
Would he
what
have
he would
killed
have
his
done to
stepdad?
the
That's a good
stepdad. Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Would he have killed the stepdad? Because
He,
he's technically not the one that does it.
Corey at this point is so far gone that he might have out of necessity.
Yeah.
Because the stepdad would have tried to stop him and he would have tried to convince
Yeah.
him to surrender, probably. Because he's a
Yeah.
pretty
Someone
level
found him
headed
out,
guy.
basically. Yeah.
So, yeah, he probably would have had to kill him out of necessity. I think
Yeah.
that it
Leave no
gave him one more
survivors type
reason
of thing.
to punish that fucking dickhead kid, though, because he just
Yeah.
killed one of the only
Then he
people that
just
he cares
killed his
about.
fucking yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, so he starts killing all the kids, and then the stepdad gets shot, and then he grabs the kid, the dickhead kid, in like the Letterman jacket, and fucking like slams him on his back and starts burning his face with a fucking torch.
Okay,
Like a like
actually,
a
right. Sorry, right before that though,
mm-hmm.
I just remembered it. Um, the kid shoots the stepdad, and the stepdad's body falls, and then fucking Corey's gone. I love that
Yes,
shot.
yeah, he
Corey's
vanishes.
there, and when he fucking vanishes, it's literally like the reverse shot of the earlier scene with Lori. Like he's just gone. And I'm just like, man, did they do that in camera? Because if they did, fucking great job.
Impressive. Yeah.
That was a really great.
Because
And
he
then
steps
yeah,
up, blocks the shot, and then falls, and Corey's gone. So they
and
might have
then
done that
yeah, Corey's
practical.
gone. Yeah, that was great.
Um,
And yeah, like you said, he grabs a fucking blowtorch
yeah, he
and
takes
sticks it in the
a
dude's
fucking welding
mouth.
torch and blows the guy's fucking face with it.
Oh
And he's like burning
man,
his face, and then he sticks it in his mouth.
yeah, dude.
Um,
Like you don't see it. It's like
Out of
up close,
focus.
out of focus.
Which I
And I
thought
really
was a great
wish
choice, in my opinion,
I
to see the
I do
girl
think it was a great
suffering and
choice.
being forced to
Yeah,
watch her friend burn to
watching
death.
it.
But I do
Yeah,
wish just for a moment the focus had switched at the end so that
we
we
could
could
have
see
seen
the
it.
carnage. Um,
Um, Christopher Nelson, the makeup effects artist
mhm.
behind the mask and all of the like a lot of the visual effects in these movies. He actually posted a picture of the makeup prosthetic that he made for the burnt up mouth for that guy, and it's really cool. So you do get an opportunity to see what it would have looked like in focus, but I'm with you. I really wish we would have seen a little bit more of that kill.
Yeah, I just for like one frame or something at the very end, if the focus had
Seen just a
shifted
little
back,
bit.
it would have been great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Corey goes to the record station. And this is like,
Well, no. First, he fucking head stomps that
oh
bitch
yeah, yeah, yeah. He stomps the girl
in the
under the
gate.
fence. Head
Another head
stomps.
stomp.
They really like head stomps in these movies.
Side note is kind of funny. I was talking to Tyler like the night before we watched this movie together, all
Mhm.
three of us, and he was like, "I hope it's not as gory as the other ones because he didn't." He specifically pointed out the head stomp in 2018 that he didn't like that. He thought it was too much. And I was just like having a great time when he did it again because I was just like, dude, literally the one kill that you didn't like, they did it again.
And he was right
I thought
next
it
to
was
you too,
great.
which made it even
Yeah,
better.
I know. It was so
Yeah,
great.
I saw a couple times when Tyler was like, "Oh, like
Yeah,
yeah," because he
yeah,
doesn't do too well with gore, and I'm a Saw fan, so
yeah.
I've
Oh
become
yeah, we
I've
don't
become
care.
kind of
We love it.
numb to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so uh, they do the
But
head
yeah, he
stomp, and
goes
then he goes to the record
to the
station,
record store. Yeah,
and he kills the
not the store. The
the
radio
secretary
station. Yeah.
outside.
Mm-hmm.
He kills her,
Off
and she,
screen,
yeah, off
kind of.
screen. You see her like struggling, and then that's it.
Yeah.
They don't really show how he kills her. I
Yeah.
heard from some people in their reviews saying that her kill got cut, that there was a full kill for her that
I
got cut
think that
out.
actress did say that she had a full kill scene that got cut out.
Which, you know, it happens. It's
Yeah,
I hope
it was
maybe it's
cool to
in
see.
on the Blu-ray or something. Um,
Yeah, I do too.
but yeah, so he uh he breaks into the DJ's office while he's live and fucking slams his face into the desk that has the turntables on it.
Oh
And
my
he
god.
slams his face over and over until his jaw is busted and like hanging off. And then he fucking cuts the dude's tongue off with scissors.
Bro.
And the record player skips over the tongue over and over and starts flopping it around.
It's so oh, it's such a literally the best kill in the whole movie. It is the best one. It's so fucking genius. I love I love how gnarly it is.
All right, so right
Yeah.
after the um the radio station kills, um we get Lori in her house like arguing with Allison,
Yeah.
and Allison basically tells her that like she's a bitch and then fucking leaves. And then Lori is depressed and drinking, and she gets the gun out of the safe and calls the police and tells them that she'd like to report a suicide,
Yeah.
which is a really interesting fake out.
It is because I'm like, okay, so she shoots a pumpkin to fake Corey out so that he would open the door, you know, caught off guard, and then that she could shoot him. And
Mm-hmm.
she says, "Do you really think I would kill myself?" And it's just like, okay, at what point did she figure out that he was there? That's kind of what I'm wondering. Like,
Yeah, the
did
other
she like
thing
look out the window and see him and we just didn't see that part? I don't know.
the other thing that bothers me about that scene is if she knew Corey was going to come up and try to kill her, why didn't she just wait for him?
Well, I think it was just more of a plan to catch him off guard than anything else.
Yeah, it still seems weird though. She knew he was in the house and she goes up to get a
Yeah.
weapon and stuff. And she makes, you know, she does a good job, like a convincing job of making it seem like she's not, it's like she doesn't have her guard up.
Yeah.
But
And it
like she could
seems,
have gone up there, got the thing, and like got the gun out of the safe and sat in her chair and just waited. He had
yeah,
to come
for
through that
sure.
door.
Yeah. And from the trailer that we got, the first trailer, it seems like they cut out a whole sequence where we would have seen Corey's POV go inside the house,
Yes,
up
I
the
was wondering that
stairs,
when we watched the movie. I was like, "Where's the
and
tracking shot? Like the
yeah.
the first person POV shot wasn't there."
Honestly, I think it was kind of a mistake to cut it. I think that would have been cool because you would have had Lori being like, I'm reporting a suicide," and then you would have seen Corey looking outside the house, going in the house, up the stairs, and then
The
looking in
gunshot.
her room as what looks like brains explode. And I think it would have been a much more shocking way to reveal she didn't kill herself. And then, he would have opened the door. I
Yeah.
think that would have been a better way. I mean, obviously the filmmakers didn't agree, but I don't know. I just think cutting that tracking shot was kind of a mistake. I thought it was a cool. It was kind of the best part of that whole first trailer for me.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems I had with this sequence in the movie is that Corey, you know, goes, gets the mask, comes to the house, and then is defeated in about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
um he, you know, because Laurie shoots him, he falls, and then that's basically it. Like he's just down for the count. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's at this point where it kind of becomes clear they're kind of rushing to get to Michael getting into the house and shit like that.
Yeah.
So So yeah, it kind of becomes clear that okay, he just gets shot, and it's just like you didn't think about her having a gun or anything. You're just gonna coming here and try and kill her, and it's just like, okay, I guess it's a really interesting choice. I don't hate it or anything. It's just like, like I said, it just becomes very clear that they're trying to get to Michael coming in at the end of the third act, and but yeah, so he falls down, he's shot, and Lori comes down, empties her gun, basically threatens him.
Yeah, so when Corey is like down on the ground, Lori comes over and she like empties her gun,
Yeah,
and then she lets Corey pick up the knife, and then is like, "You came here to kill me, so do it."
yeah.
And it was at this moment that I immediately became confused because I was like, "Okay, so is she saying she wants him to try to kill her so she can kill him anyways? Like, was she gonna like beat
Uh,
his ass when he tried to stab her?"
Half of me, what I kind of got from that was either she was trying to make sure that Allison sees him attempting to kill her, or she was trying to get him to kill her so that she could kill him in self-defense.
Oh, okay, okay. So it wouldn't just look like she shot him for no
So
reason.
yeah, so it wouldn't look
Okay,
like a murder.
that's
Because
pretty
at that
smart.
point, she didn't know that he had killed anyone else, really. She had suspicions, but obviously she had no idea that he had been killing other people. So maybe it was more of like a self-defense thing, to where if she shot him and then emptied her gun elsewhere, like it would look more like self-defense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I always thought it was like really weird. Every time I've
Yeah,
rewatched the movie, I'm like, why would she give him that chance? That's so stupid.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so anyway, so Corey is like fucked up and he has the knife and then he hears Allison pull up. And rather than stab Lori, this is another random choice that the movie makes that I wasn't happy with. He
hmm
stabs himself in the neck.
See, yeah, he stabbed himself right in the neck after repeating the line, "If I can't have her, no one can," calling back to earlier in the movie. But I don't, that's the thing. I don't actually consider that random at all. I think I completely understand what they're doing with that because he's pretty much defeated. Like, there's no way that he's gonna win. He's not getting out of this alive, or if he is, he's going to jail. So basically, it's to ensure that it looks like Lori killed him, to turn Allison against Lori, so that he essentially wins even if he dies.
Yeah, like I understand the idea behind it, but after everything he went through and all the people he's killed and how he was gonna go there to kill Lori, it felt
Mhm.
very out of place for him to suddenly kill himself. I understand the meaning behind it and like why he did it. I just didn't agree with it.
I don't think it's out of place just because what else is this crazy motherfucker gonna do? Like, he has no real choice other than, he doesn't want Allison seeing him as the bad guy, so he doesn't have much of a choice other than going to jail.
I
So,
I honestly kind of thought when he said if I can't have her, no one will.
mhm.
I thought that Allison was gonna come in and he was gonna try to stab her.
Yeah, I mean that could have been another way they do it, but I think he cares about her too much. Like, he doesn't want to harm her at all. So
So
I get why they didn't go with
he'll
that.
make her hate Lori so that
Yeah,
yeah, I understand. It just I
yeah,
don't know. I would have preferred something else to happen. I didn't like the way that they just had him take himself out after
hmm
all of that, but
yeah,
I get it. Um but yeah, so Corey stabs himself and then is dead.
yep.
And then Michael
He's
comes
dead.
in to oh well, Allison sees Lori take the knife out of
Yeah.
Corey. Another dumb decision. This is why
Yeah.
why because she just put her fingerprints on the knife that was in the kid's neck. And so
Yeah.
even if it was the cops showing up at that moment, she would have gone to
Yeah.
jail. Like that's it. Like
Absolutely. Yeah. For sure.
um but yeah, Allison walks in, sees her, freaks out, doesn't call the police, just leaves.
No.
Another dumb
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah.
Anyways, so she leaves thinking that Lori is a fucking monster and she killed her boyfriend, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Then Michael comes in the house, all nonchalant, like nothing just happened.
Yeah.
Picks up his mask, puts it on, and then Corey somehow is shot twice and stabbed himself in the neck with the world's biggest fucking kitchen knife. And
Well, how the
and
fuck
he
does Michael
was
survive all that shit?
exactly. So he was still alive somehow, grabs Michael, Michael snaps his neck,
Yep. Fucking
and
bitch.
then
Crack.
yeah, exactly. He's like, "How fucking dare you? That was mine."
That was mine.
It was like in Avengers when Thor gets mad at Iron Man and he's like, "Well, don't touch my things."
Yeah, don't
That's
touch my
exactly
things.
what that was. Michael was like, "Don't touch my
Yeah.
things." Uh, so
Yeah.
yeah, so Corey gets his neck snapped. That's it for that. And then Michael tries to kill Lori. Lori does this great fake out with the microwave, which I
Yeah.
still think
That's good.
is kind of weird because like why would Michael be like, "Oh, burritos?" Like, like I understand it's supposed to be like the noise would make him
Yeah, just
turn
like a
around or
distraction,
whatever.
basically.
But
Yeah.
it was just funny to me that he'd be like, "Yo, whose hot pocket is this? Like, is
Yeah.
anyone gonna eat that?"
Yeah.
You know I'm right. Like it's a very
I know, I
weird
get what
thing.
you.
It's the weirdest distraction she could have picked. Like
It is
how could she have
strange.
possibly known that this man who like eats fucking dogs and like is criminally insane would even care about her fucking microwave?
I know. It is pretty funny.
But
Anyway.
but yeah, so he gets distracted by a microwave
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Lori jumps out and attacks him. Is whooping his ass for a second and then he
Yeah,
starts
we have this
fucking
big
yeeting her
fight.
around the kitchen.
Yeah. Fucking throws her ass.
Like over the entire kitchen island, just fucking throws her. And then he
Why?
sticks her hand in the garbage disposal, which was cool as
Yeah,
fuck.
that was a good scene.
And then Lori, of course, has to win. So she beats Michael um by pinning him to the table or to
Yeah,
the kitchen island, stabs him through his
pins
hands,
and
and then
yeah, both
drops the
hands.
fridge on his leg. So all he can move
Yeah,
is one leg.
yeah. So he's pinned down completely.
Yeah. And then she takes his mask off, which I thought was kind of weird because they just put the mask back on.
Yeah.
um, but then she cuts his throat
Yep.
and Michael
Slices
starts
that
bleeding
shit.
out. And then,
Yeah.
just like in Scream, this is the part where the supposedly dead killer comes back for one more scare.
One more
And
scare.
he rips his hand off the knife, like splits it down the middle,
Yep.
grabs Lori's neck, and starts choking her to death.
Yep.
In which Lori just randomly, again, goes, "Just do it." Which
I'll put a pin in that. I'll let you talk, but yeah.
I am not sure how I feel about that because it's like
Mhm.
all this time she's spent obsessing over Michael and all this stuff, and then she just is like willing to give up at the end because
Yeah.
she's like, well, at least I got him. And I'm like, I don't like that. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I know some people probably liked it, but as much as I like the flashbacks and stuff in that scene, like it's
Mhm.
done well. I just
Yeah.
really don't like the decision to have her go from like, you know, Sarah Connor to like, okay, I'll just die,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
Um,
So my thoughts on that are okay. So if that is what that was, which is like, her just giving up all of a sudden, even though he's still pinned to the table, it's just her giving up. I don't like that at all. I fucking hate it. I think that to me would be the worst part of the movie. Yes, worse than Corey bitch slapping Michael around for his mask. Like, I honestly that would be so bad. Like, through all these fucking movies, you're fighting Michael Myers, you're like Sarah Connor, like you said, and then you just all of a sudden give up when he's choking you with like two fingers. Like, okay, like no.
Yeah.
What my thoughts on that are that okay, I think it was less of her giving up and more of a intentional callback to Halloween Kills. Because if you remember at the end of Halloween Kills, you have Allison at the bottom of the stairs in the Myers house, and Myers is holding a knife to her, and she's like, "Do it, do it." And then she looks over his shoulder and screams, "Do it," to which is revealed as Karen with the pitchfork stabbing him in the back.
Yeah.
So I think that it's not her giving up. I think it's more of her like distracting Michael while she is aware that Allison is over there about to come help her, basically. And I think it is an intentional callback to that scene in Halloween Kills.
That is probably true, but my only issue with that is Allison's line right after that is I'm not going to let this happen to you,
Yeah,
which is like the weird part is first of all, like just going back, Michael's pinned.
yeah,
And then Allison comes in and very easily breaks Michael's arm.
yeah,
So Lori didn't need a distraction to beat Michael.
yeah,
Michael's already fucked. So
yeah,
there's
yeah.
basically no reason at all other than that callback for her to give up in that moment.
I
And
think it
that's my
was.
only problem with it. I understand, like, if that's their idea behind it, I get it,
Mhm,
but it's
yeah,
very poorly executed if that's the
and
case.
obviously they wanted a moment to be nostalgic and having a flashback to all the scenes of like Laurie and the original Laurie in 2018, Laurie and Kills and all that stuff. And so I don't know. It's not the greatest. I think it's kind of weird. It's like Michael is still pinned. I don't know why you're struggling now with
Yeah, because
this
she's
man
not even
whose
trying to fight him,
hand
she
is
just lets
slashed
him
in
choke
half.
her.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
She's like,
So
harder.
I God fuck no. I like to believe that it was more of a callback and she's just kind of distracting him a bit. I don't know. But it is a bit of a weird scene, but yeah, after that Allison comes in and fucking snaps the shit out of his arm.
Yeah. And then Lori takes the broken arm and turns it over like it's totally not broken.
Yeah.
Like it gets completely folded back and then she turns it
Yeah.
over like it's normal all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Which I think was more of a movie mistake than anything. I don't think it's
Maybe.
really that big of a deal, but I noticed that
Yeah.
she turns his perfectly normal arm over after that.
Yeah.
um, but then she cuts his wrist
Yeah. Slices his wrist.
and then
And so,
basically draining all the blood from Michael's body at this point. And then they
yeah.
take Michael on the Griswold family vacation, and they strap him to the
I
top of
fucking
the,
love
the station wagon.
he's the fucking Christmas tree in Christmas
Exactly.
Vacation.
And so
um
all of a sudden, everybody, and I saw other people complaining about this. All of a sudden,
yeah.
every single person in the town who's ever been wronged by Michael just sees the bat signal and goes to the junkyard to watch
Yeah.
the Michael funeral,
Yeah.
which is the weirdest thing ever.
Like I
The
like what they were
symbolism
trying to
behind it is
do.
fantastic, but it makes
I
no
just
fucking sense.
yeah, where did these people come from? Like I think they needed to have something where I don't know, maybe the town was going to go after him again perhaps and like they heard Michael Myers is back so they were going to start a mob again and go after him and then that would lead to why they're all there, but it's just like out of nowhere they're just all following Lori and the cops to this fucking junkyard on foot. It's just like it's I like the imagery and I like the symbolism, but it's just like why? Where did this come from?
Yeah, it's really
So
fucking random.
I find it interesting. I kind of like how they killed Michael. I like that he because she also stabs him in the like basically armpit area earlier when he's first pinned to the
Oh yeah,
table.
yeah.
And that would basically get right to his lung. So I think she punctured his lung and slit his throat and wrist. So he's
Yeah.
bleeding from like three different areas. So I do completely believe that that would kill him because yes, there's a whole argument about if he's supernatural or not, but he is still a man. He cannot function without blood. Like he
That
is
is
not
true.
that
Yeah.
supernatural. So I like that idea. I of all the things like the third act is a bit messy, but I do overall like the kitchen fight and I do like the way they take Michael out because I don't know, it's just a bit more intense and personal than just like burning him or decapitating him or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been much more well received if we had more time.
True.
Like the fight is
That
so short, and I
I think
feel
they
like a
could
good
have figured out a way.
for this being Halloween ends. I mean,
Yeah.
this is supposed to be the last one with Laurie and Michael. You really
Yeah.
needed that time, and they didn't give it to us. And as much as I
Oh, for
love
sure.
the Corey plot, I love Corey's character more than anything in this movie. But the
Mhm.
reason Corey is my favorite part of this movie is because Corey's the only truly fleshed out part of this whole movie.
Yeah.
Like everything else is just a ton of questions that are
True.
unanswered. And
That's fair.
so it becomes like this really convoluted third act that's shoving the end of the franchise in to what
Hmm.
should have been the end of a Corey movie. Like
Yeah,
it
essentially, yeah.
feels like they made two-thirds of one movie and then threw away the third act to make Halloween Ends. Like
Yeah.
it's really rushed at the end. And that was my
Yeah.
biggest problem with this movie. That's to me that hurts the movie more than anything is how bad the third act
Yeah.
is. If the second act was bad and the third act was phenomenal, it would have stuck the landing and I would have felt much better about it. But
Sure.
it's just really like really shaky at the end and like
Hmm.
I don't like how short the final battle is and I don't like how easily she beats Michael.
Hmm.
I feel like there should have been more of a struggle. I don't like the Lori giving up thing.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the way that they got rid of Michael once and for all. Like it worked for me. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the
So,
random idea that the entire town was summoned to the
yeah.
junkyard. We must send Michael
So,
off. Like
so yeah, then they strap him to the car, they drive down to the junkyard. And like I said, it's random as hell, but I do like the imagery of, them carrying his body into this metal grinder from the junkyard and she gets in there and pushes his body into it and the fucking effect in that scene is fucking gnarly, dude. Like the way you see his like head just like completely crush and break and shit is fucking disgusting.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Um
Yeah,
yeah, like I said,
and I like it.
I wish we would have just had more time to build up that moment. Um
Yeah.
it like they had three movies to give us that moment and when you do get that moment you're like really that's it even though
Yeah,
it's cool it just feels very underwhelming after everything we've been through.
sure.
um I mean that's just my opinion. I know some people love the fuck out of the ending of this movie, but
Well, I like the ending itself. Like I have no problems with how they ended it. I don't know. I think it would have landed better if you could have gotten a bit more Michael in the movie.
yeah, exactly, we needed more Michael and Laurie. That was
Yeah.
if this is the end of Laurie Strode's story with Michael,
Yeah.
then we needed this whole movie to be Laurie Strode and Michael.
We needed it more.
um
But
But yeah, so basically they get rid of Michael.
Yeah.
Michael is sloppy Joe meat now, and
Fucking yeah, fucking sloppy Joe me.
he's pretty damn close.
Oh yeah.
um and and then we get this ending scene of Lori finally at peace, finishes her
Yeah.
book. She has Michael's mask just folded on the table,
Yeah.
and
We get
she, you
this
know,
nice moment between Frank and now Lori, who it seems like they're gonna become a thing later on, and I kind of like that because I like the two together. I like their chemistry. Will Patton and Jamie Lee Curtis. I think they have nice chemistry together.
yeah, I think they played off each other well enough. I
Yeah.
didn't really have a problem with them ending up together.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have picked a more meaningful scene to end on.
Hmm.
Like if
Yeah.
they had done her and Allison like finally understanding each other and then Allison moving away and then that would have been like, I feel like that would have been a more like emotional ending than
I agree.
just having
Yeah.
Lori be like, "I have a boyfriend." Like
True.
it
True.
was fine, but I feel like they could have done better. There
Well, I
was
mean, if you
better
want to give it
options
a
there.
little extra context, I mean, it's just like Lori has been a fucking hot mess ever since '78, so it's kind of nice to see her actually like settle down with someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, like you said, they end on that, and then you get this last shot of Michael's mask folded on her like fucking coffee table in the living room, and then Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
uh,
The ending
interesting,
of the movie to me,
interesting.
like the ending song and all that is fine, but it's weird to me. It's like
Yeah,
the only one that doesn't end with like the main theme, isn't it?
I think that the idea was that this one it could because Michael is finally dead and because Laurie's finally happy, they're gonna end on a bit of a happier note than the evil Michael Myers theme. And I get what they were going for. It's just a bit jarring to me. It's just all of a sudden you see the mask and then na 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 na. It's
Yeah,
just
that's
like
true.
it's just very jarring. I love the callback to the original because obviously, if you didn't know, uh, Don't Fear the Reaper is in the original movie, so the fact that they put that in here is cool. It's just that, yeah, I don't know. I think they could have done an interesting. I don't know. I think they could have done a. I don't know. It's just very jarring. The end credits. I think it would have been cooler if instead of using Michael's theme at the end, it could have been like Laurie's theme to
Yeah.
end the movie, and then you get the Blue Oyster Cult. But that's just me. I think it would have been cool to get like Laurie's theme at the very end.
Yeah, I feel like we needed a John Carpenter score at the end of this
Yeah,
movie. Like it just it
yeah,
but I mean, the song choice was fine. It didn't ruin
yeah.
it for
I
me.
didn't hate the song choice itself. Yeah.
All right, so let's give our scores out of 10. I did a spoiler-free review, but I felt like I couldn't really talk about the movie. I
Really?
was kind of talking in circles cuz I really just didn't know how to articulate my feelings about this movie without spoilers.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um so I never put it out. But in
Okay.
that review, I said my score was either a 6.5 or a 7.
Okay.
I feel like I could comfortably sit after seeing it a couple more times. I could comfortably sit at a 6.5.
Okay.
I don't hate the movie. Like I love two-thirds of the movie.
Yeah.
But the third act, I just had so many little nitpicks and a couple really big issues with it that I just could
Hmm.
not get past even after watching it a couple times. And
Sure.
yeah, I at first I was gonna give it a 7, but I wasn't quite sure. And now that I've seen it a couple more times, I feel like I have to give it lower than a 7.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
what?
so
Oh, okay.
mine yeah, shut the fuck up. No. Um mine so I have pretty similar thoughts to you. Um I think that overall I do some of the dislikes we share, though I can get past them a bit more than you can. Like some of the things I love about this movie, I love way more than the things that I hate, so I kind of can get over some of the things that make me go, "What the fuck was that for?" So my score, I think I will give it a 7. It could be like a 7, 7.5. Like I don't fucking love this movie. It's not my favorite of the franchise for sure, but I still think I like it a lot. And I don't know. Overall, I think the Blumhouse trilogy has been really cool. Uh, I liked Kills more than most people. It's another movie where I'm like, yeah, it has a lot of flaws, but I can look past some of those flaws just because it has so many cool fucking things that I never thought I would get to see in a Michael Myers movie. So overall, and we both love Halloween 2018. So
Yeah.
overall, I really liked the Blumhouse trilogy. Uh, yeah, it has some faults, but it's the best Halloween content I think we've gotten in a very long time. Because I do not like the Rob Zombie movies, and I definitely don't fucking like Resurrection or most of the sequels. So yeah. On a side note, before you get into your theory, I don't know. I was just thinking about it, and it's just like it's kind of crazy how much this whole Blumhouse trilogy has kind of affected us because I was thinking about it, and it's just like the hype of 2018 was literally like the start of so many. Like it's jump started my love for like Michael Myers and the Halloween franchise. I had always enjoyed Halloween, but seeing all these videos come out about Jamie Lee Curtis returning to Castle, John Carpenter, it kind of jump started this love that I have for the original movie. Um, I discovered we watched a movie through all their updates about Halloween 2018, in which I showed you those guys, and we've had a lot of good times watching them and having fun over on their channel. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of interesting how this whole Blumhouse Halloween era is kind of coming to an end for now. Obviously, I think they're going to do more in the future, but just I don't know. It's really cool to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It was an interesting ride for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The start was definitely the best part.
Yeah.
um
Sure.
yeah, 2018 was it was a great time for horror fans. Like it
Yeah.
was so cool to see every generation of Halloween fans come together to celebrate the fact that we were getting a new movie. And
Yeah.
as much as I dislike a lot of the things of how this trilogy turned out, I think that it's done one great thing, and that's bring all the Halloween fans back together again.
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy because 2018 people theorized was gonna jumpstart this whole revolution of rebooting these classic horror movies, and we kind of still don't have any of those. Like we got a Texas Chainsaw Netflix movie, and that's about it. No Freddy or Jason. Still 3 movies into this Blumhouse trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, well, we did get another Scream, but it's not really a
Get another
remake.
Scream. That's true. Yeah,
It's just a sequel. But
it's a sequel. It's in the same vein as Halloween, but yeah, we got a Scream movie and a Texas Chainsaw Netflix film. So I'm hoping we can get some more movies like a new Friday the 13th now that all the legal bullshit is over with and a Nightmare on Elm Street. I really hope so.
yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
So
Did
before
you want to talk about your theory?
yes, before I get
Okay.
into my fan theory that I'm sure somebody
Oh
has
yeah,
already
yeah,
thought
yeah.
of, but um, my cousin Sean, who has been featured on my channel many times, all the way back
Yes.
to my first video ever,
Very first one.
he is the biggest Halloween fan I have ever known. This kid
Yeah.
watches every movie every year, even the ones that he hates, just because he loves Michael that much.
I can't say that
Um,
I have that same kind of passion.
his dedication to the franchise is unmatched by anyone that I know. This
Yeah.
kid will watch anything with Michael in it. Doesn't matter how bad it is, he'll watch it. And he has a very strong opinion about this movie.
Oh, I'm sure.
Sean is on the other side of the fence,
Yep.
which I kind of expected, to be honest. Sean is very, very, very much attached to the old ways of the franchise because he grew up with it. He's
Yeah.
been obsessed with it his whole life. It's his baby, basically. Like he
Yeah.
didn't want it to change. And so one of the interesting things about this movie is that everyone said it was going to be like The Last Jedi. Half the people would love it, half the people would hate it. And
Yeah.
this is one of the people that fucking hates it. Sean gave Halloween Ends a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I can't say that I agree with him, but
He said he didn't care if Corey was in it or not. He wanted the whole thing to be about Laurie and Michael.
yeah.
Which I do kind of agree with. It is Halloween
Mhm.
Ends. It should have
Yeah.
been a Laurie and Michael movie. Um, and then he said, I will admit I do find a lot of the throwbacks amazing, but as far as a Halloween film, I'd rather fund the Munsters. Which is like, goddamn.
No, I'm sorry. No.
Sean told me this, and this is definitely not something that most people will agree with.
Yeah.
Even the people who do hate the movie, but Sean actually told me there was more about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 that he appreciated than this movie.
No, I give him some time. That's what all I'll say. Like, come on, dude.
I
He literally
I
had
don't
Michael talk. Like,
I
come
don't
on,
agree
man.
with it either, but
Sean.
I mean it is what it is. People will have their opinions.
True.
Um, but Sean is very, very, very attached to
Oh
the
yeah.
original films, even Resurrection and all those ones. Like Sean will watch all of them. Sean will watch Buster Rhymes and the Michael Kung Fu fight, and he does not give a shit. Like he loves all of it.
It's fucking awesome.
So, so yeah,
All right.
that's Sean's score, 3 out of 10.
Okay. All right.
All right, so let's get into my tinfoil hat theory. Put your
Okay.
fucking tinfoil hats from Signs on.
Alrighty
We
then.
got to get into this. All right. So, my theory is that sometime within the next 5 to 10 years, if Blumhouse keeps the rights, because technically other people can acquire the rights now.
Sure. Yeah.
If Blumhouse is to secure the rights again, I think in the next 5 to 10 years we will get another Halloween movie.
Sure.
The movie will be disguised as a remake.
Hmm. Okay.
My idea is that the shape will be referred to as the shape.
Okay.
And at the end of the movie, we will find out that the shape is not Michael Myers
Hmm.
and that it is Corey Cunningham.
Okay.
The reason for that is because they never fully gave us 100% answer on whether Michael was immortal or not.
Okay.
And throughout the movie, they lay these threads that Corey is like Michael. They say
Sure.
his eyes are not his, and
Right.
Michael chooses to let him live when he could have killed him. And then Michael
Right.
works with him to kill people that Corey hates. And Corey
Yeah.
gets further and further down the rabbit hole. He wears the mask and literally is the shape for the third act of the film. I and so at the end of the movie, Michael looks into Corey's eyes, who somehow survived 2 gunshots and a knife to the throat,
Hmm.
snaps his neck, and walks away, right? But before, he looks into his eyes again.
Yeah.
Then Michael goes and loses to Lori. And
Okay.
their immediate idea is that Michael's body must be destroyed.
Yeah.
So they take his body and grind him up to make sure that he cannot come back.
Sure.
They did not ever discuss what they did with Corey's body.
It's true. It is
And
true.
the last thing that Lori writes in her book at the end of the movie is evil doesn't die, it changes shape.
Yeah.
So my theory is that if Blumhouse can secure the rights again, the next Halloween movie will be a reboot where Michael, who we think is Michael, is killing all these kids in Haddonfield. And
Okay.
we find out, and this will be probably after Laurie Strode has passed away
Yeah.
and all
Okay.
this stuff. So all the fans will be like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like, it's new Michael shit. This is nuts. And
Sure.
then at the end of the movie, we will find out that the shape is Corey.
Hmm. Okay. You know, I personally think that he's just 100% dead. But I do think it'd be a interesting way to kind of make a new Halloween movie that is not exactly a reboot, but not also like not an anthology either. It's kind of in the middle
Yeah.
where
So
it's like, yeah,
my other idea for that, for the route that they could go, is at the end of the film, Allison moved away.
yes,
For this new franchise, they could have a Halloween movie where a killer, it's called Halloween, but it's an anthology story.
sure.
So it'll be like kind of like what John Carpenter wanted to do in the first place, where after
With season
Michael,
of the
we move
witch.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
So this will take place in a different city entirely.
Okay.
And there will be a new killer that is killing teenagers around town. Also, I wanted to point out, I forgot to say it, but as part of my theory, at the end of the movie, Corey stabs himself in the throat.
Yeah.
And one of the key features of the shape is that he never talks.
True. Yeah.
Corey can't talk if he cut his
Yeah.
vocal cords.
That is true.
So, for all intensive purposes, we will 100% believe that it is Michael because he doesn't talk, he's just heavy breathing in a mask.
That's true.
So, anyways, my other idea is that there'd be a new killer, and for most of the movie, we don't see what the killer looks like. But he's much more aggressive than Michael.
Right.
So we saw in this movie that Corey is much more aggressive with his kills. Like
Yeah.
he broke the guy's face open and then cut his tongue off with scissors. He fucking
Right.
put the blowtorch in the kid's mouth. He fucking stabbed the guy with the corkscrew over and over while suffocating him and filling the
Yeah.
bag with his own blood and shit. Corey has much more aggressive kills than Michael does in these movies.
Sure. Yeah.
So my idea is that Corey, that or the new killer would be killing people way more aggressive than we had seen previously in the Halloween franchise. And towards the end of the movie, you see the first shot of, or well, probably like halfway through the movie. You can't wait too long. But
Sure, yeah.
you'll see the killer killing somebody, and as he steps into the light, it's the Scarecrow mask.
Mm, okay.
And that would eventually lead to the ending of the movie, finding out, the police find out, maybe they knock his mask off or whatever, and the police find out that it's Corey, whose
Okay.
body went missing years ago, and they covered it up so that the town wouldn't worry or whatever, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And we find out that the town, the new town this is all taking place in, is where Allison moved to.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Corey is going there looking for Allison.
So your idea, either way, is that Corey survived to the end of this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
But the only reason I think that is because of the fact that he stabbed himself, was still alive. He actually mentions in the movie, after he kills a couple people, that his wounds don't hurt anymore. The
Yeah.
infection in his hand doesn't bother him. The cuts on his head don't bother him.
Yeah. My personal theory is that when Michael is killing Corey, that he's taking back the evil he gave him, and so he would become fully mortal again, and then Corey's just dead. But honestly, I wouldn't be 100% surprised if Corey came back, because it seems that they're definitely setting up. That's the thing about this movie. I think either way, this movie is kind of trying to ease the fans into a Halloween movie without Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Whether that be Corey Cunningham, I doubt it, or if it's just that they plan on doing more of an anthology thing like they tried to do with Season of the Witch.
Yeah, so I don't know if you heard this or not, but one of the writers, I don't remember which one it was, because there's a couple writers for this movie, but
Yeah.
one of the writers said that in every version of the script, it ended with a factory making silver shamrock masks. And that the final
What?
shot of the film was going to be the Silver Shamrock factory mass producing the shape mask.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So they were literally going to say that Silver Shamrock was responsible for Michael Myers.
Was that in We Watched the Movies interview? Because they interviewed one of the writers of this movie
It might
plus
have
the
been.
book.
I don't remember where I heard it, to be
Because
honest,
there
because I
has
was
been a
listening to a
theory.
ton of stuff for a long time after I saw the movie. I went and
I
listened to
think,
like a fuck ton of YouTube channels because I was like, I need to know what everybody thinks about this.
yeah, because they definitely interviewed the one of the writers of this movie, and he also wrote the novelization. And yeah, maybe the reason they didn't use that is because people already thought it up. Because that has been a theory for years that Michael's mask is a silver shamrock mask, and that was going to be like the twist of one of these movies. So maybe that's why they cut that idea, is because people already figured it out.
It was David Gordon Green said it.
David Gordon Green said it?
Yeah, and it is reported by actual sources. It's on Fangoria, Cinema Blend, Yahoo,
How the fuck did I not
Collider.
see that yet? What the fuck? God damn. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, Cinema Blend reported on it too.
I wonder if they ever filmed that or if that's got cut before they started actually filming the movie.
So this is the actual quote from David Gordon Green, okay?
Okay.
There was an ending I wrote that we never filmed.
Okay.
There's our answer for that. And it takes place at the Silver Shamrock factory as it was spitting out witch, skeleton, and jack-o'-lantern masks. And then one of the conveyor belts would start spitting out Michael Myers masks. But at the end of the day, I thought that's just fan service for people who know what Silver Shamrock is. So I didn't film it.
I I appreciate his reasoning for cutting it because honestly, yeah, for any casual fan going to see this movie, they would have absolutely no idea what that ending means.
What a twist that would have been, though, to add Season of the
No.
Witch to the timeline.
Yeah, because he in both 2018 and Halloween Kills, there are children wearing the Silver Shamrock masks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of wonder if that was less of an Easter egg and more of setup for that ending.
Yeah, they were teasing us for the
Yeah,
ending that he had in his head all along,
that's
but it
fucking
never made it
insane.
in.
That is so nuts.
Dude, imagine
Wow.
imagine if when they took Corey's mask off in one of the scenes it had the Silver Shamrock.
Yeah.
That
I
would have been
mean,
crazy.
ultimately, that theory doesn't make a whole lot of sense just because Michael went crazy and started killing people before he ever got that mask. But it is still kind of cool. I wonder, yeah, I wonder how that would have went if they
Well,
ever
we
put
don't
that in
know
the
if
movie.
his clown mask was a Silver Shamrock mask either.
True. I
What
mean, it could
what
have been.
made the 6-year-old kid snap and become a lunatic mute?
Yeah. There was a quote by David Gordon Green when Halloween Kills came out. He specifically mentioned that I think it was during like the commentary. There's a radio tower in Halloween Kills that you can see that eventually becomes the radio tower we see in Ends.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that he specifically put that radio tower in some of the shots in the movie because it would have an important role in Halloween Ends. And now we know that his whole story completely changed
Mm-hmm.
between when he made Kills and when it got delayed for COVID. So my original theory was that Michael Myers was actually when he goes to the Myers house and looks out Judith's bedroom window, he was staring at that radio tower. And that would have tied into something to do with why he kills or why he's evil or something like that.
What if they had said that that antenna wasn't from a radio station, it was the Silver Shamrock factory sending Michael a signal?
Sending signals out to these masks. Yeah. Which also, like, it's a funny idea, but when you really think about it, it doesn't make sense because other people would have these masks. Why aren't they killing? Like, why is it only Michael Myers that's killing?
Maybe Silver Shamrock controls who receives the signal? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. It's a theory that doesn't hold much weight, but it's
Yeah,
just a fun
I
idea.
actually, speaking of that, actually, it's funny that you brought that up. I was watching the Wham live stream when they were taking fan questions about the movie,
Yeah.
and somebody commented on there and said, "Am I the only one who wants to know why the fuck Michael was staring out the window?" Because they never told us.
Yeah. No, they did. At the end of Halloween Kills, Frank basically he's talking about how you know, Michael never wanted to go after Laurie and he's given this whole speech. And at the end of it he basically says maybe he wasn't looking out of the window, maybe he was looking in at himself. It's
Oh, like he's
basically
looking at his reflection.
at his reflection, into his own like evil eyes or something like that. And I don't know, I kind of always think to me when I watch the movie, that's kind of the end of that. Like that's kind of their quote unquote explanation without actually giving us a full on answer. Cuz to me that's the best way to do it. When you introduce new ideas into the lore for Michael Myers and his evil, like him staring out the window. I thought that was a really cool idea that they put in Halloween Kills, but you never want to actually give an answer to it. you can have the characters like theorize about why, but you can never truly have like a definitive answer. And so to me, that's what they were doing with that line, where Frank basically like gives us a theorized answer, but it's not a full on like actually this is what's happening, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
anyways, that's kind of what I think. I think they were never going to expand upon that. I think that was kind of just it.
All right, well, that
So,
concludes our Halloween Ends spoiler talk. Comment down below what you guys thought about the movie. What do you think of our scores, and what do you think about my ridiculous fan theory? And we'll see you guys later.
But when we are